Sure.
Took your mic.
Okay, it's a pleasure to be here again. Last minute replacing Russell, but it's going to be a pleasure. And I had to come with the outfit, a proper outfit again, like I did in the morning. And thanks for bringing this outfit, ADT and Marlins in the same outfit. So I'm properly dressed for this panel.
You're not a replacement. You're the real deal, Guy.
I'm the real deal.
Be
Okay.
honest.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that. So I would like to start by asking you guys to introduce yourselves a little bit. So Robert, or first, ladies first.
Yeah.
Sure. Hi, I'm Shannon Hendrickson. I'm Vice President of Brand Marketing at ADT. I've been with the brand for the past 6 years and have worked on some significant projects such as our partnership with Google, our partnership with the Marlins, and so happy to be here today.
Hi, everyone. Robert Gelman, Senior Director of Partnership Development for the Miami Marlins. I've been with the team just over 3 years, and I help develop our partnerships with brands like ADT, which, of course, is my most favorite child of all the children.
Can we start from there? Because I remember when we were prepping for this fireside chat for this panel, you guys mentioned that no, it's not a sponsorship; it's more of a partnership. And why?
Yes, I know, look, we're here to talk about marketing. Sports marketing is a subset of marketing, of course. For us, we don't look at it as a sponsorship. It's truly a partnership, which means it's the collective will of two organizations that want to come together and solve a lot of things and really get ingrained with each other's values and deliver on whatever the brand promise is of that partner so we can teach our fans what they do and kind of deliver something special, I think.
One of the things that I like about the topic of this panel, which is safety at home, and we're at a marketing event, is that usually when we think about marketing and branding, we're usually thinking about messaging, advertising, and all of that. But again, going back to the customer value thing that we were talking about this morning, in the end, we're all as companies trying to deliver value to customers and get something as in exchange, right? And safety is so important. Like if we think about even before COVID, when there was war times and terrorist attacks, probably in stadiums, like the big thing on safety was like X-rays, right? And then during COVID was probably cleanliness and so on. And it keeps changing. And nowadays we're discussing.
Not exactly fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. But the thing is, if as a marketer you don't think about the safety of your customers, that could significantly hit their perception of value and their decision to go to a stadium and to enjoy a show or to enjoy sports. So let's talk a little bit about that, starting by how do you feel sports marketing is evolving market? Robert.
Sure. So as you said, we went through a year and a half or so of, kind of COVID and everything that happened there with consumer behavior. It was a little less or much less experiential, unfortunately, and a little bit more visibility, alignment, making people and customers and fans believe that they're going to come back to a safe environment. Now, I think you're seeing more of that direct connection with the customer, with the fan, with the consumer. We can get people back in our building. We can show them a great experience. We can interact with the brands the right way. So that's how it's kind
And safety is at the core of that. Not only the show,
it's
sports shows.
Yeah, it still is. It's a little bit different. It's a little less focused on Lysol and disinfection right now. And for us, it's heavily focused now on feeling safe at home, protecting our home territory, our home building with ADT. We're going to be doing things like integrating their products and services into the ballpark, things like that.
What's your take on that?
ADT is a 149-year-old brand. So for almost 150 years, we've been keeping people safe at home. So when the Marlins came and brought this idea of safe at home, that endemic play into this term that's used all the time in baseball, it really felt like a home run. So I'm sure you get that all the time. Yeah. But
You stole that one.
yes. Yes. But speaking of the pandemic, that was actually a award-winning content play that ADT did, helping to keep people safe at home with a program that we ran during the pandemic. So it was great to be able to bring that same sentiment to Marlins Ballpark, Home Depot, no, Lone Depot Park, and it's been a great partnership so far.
And what does safety at home means to customers today?
It's a great question. So through time, through that 150-year tenure, ADT has been evolving and adapting to what customers' definition of what it means to feel safe is. And that's very different today than it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, like you mentioned with the pandemic. So we've been evolving, particularly our partnership with Google. We feature Google Nest devices, their cameras, voice assistants, and all of our smart home security systems. And we're there to be protecting and connecting what matters most, whether it's your little leaguers, your stadium, and everything in between.
I think home is wherever you are, right? So if you're at school, if you're in a ride share, ADT can protect you no matter where you are. If you're at Lone Depot Park, our stadium, that's our home. They'll protect you.
Yeah, another thing, like this morning we were talking about how to make sure that your brand value proposition is not diluting through your partners, because if you're aligning with a partner that doesn't share the same values, it's very easy that your brand somehow is going to dilute its power by not being consistent in the way that whatever the value is being delivered to customers. So my next question is to both of you, like, how do you evaluate new partnership opportunities and assess the value you offer fans and the value you offer customers? How to make sure that you're getting the right partner that will sustain the value proposition of the brand?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, each brand, in this case ADT or the Marlins,
They're very different.
they're different, but each brand has a promise in the mind of the consumer. The consumer associates it with something. Safety, baseball. Baseball is very Americana, America's pastime. It's families. So really there's a lot of similarities there, but we tend to look for that fit. We know kind of who we are and what we do and who our fan is. And we do go out on the street in partnership development and really look for brands that align with that. Ultimately, though, like I said earlier, it still has to be the collective will of both companies to come together and make decisions like this, especially significant financial decisions. So there's a lot of discussion up and down the chain about values, extracting value from the partnership benefits. But ultimately, then we have to connect that in marketing campaigns to get that across to the fan that there's a certain promise that ADT's brand represents, and it's our job to teach our fans that.
So, what client side marketer here thinks that their job has gotten easier lately? Any hands? Don't. So as marketers, our job does get harder and harder every year. We've talked a lot today about how consumers are reacting differently to messages that are put in market, how Gen Z particularly doesn't really care what you say about yourself as a brand. They care about the experiences that they have with your brand. So it's our job as brand side marketers to make sure that when our brand does show up, it's done in a purposeful way that meets them organically where they already are and can be met. And so with this evolution of sports marketing, gone are the days where a passive logo placement is enough in today's world. So that's why we love the safe at home. We love the alignment to those values, the Americana, the nostalgia, and family fun. Also, I would say diversity is another huge value of Miami. Not just the market being 50% of Miami population is born in a different country, but the team itself is fantastic. The leadership team, the diversity with Kim Eng and Caroline O'Connor has been fantastic to see women in sports as well. So just a fantastic organization. And like you said, that alignment to the core values really is 360.
To both of you again, you guys are based in Miami, which is a bellwether crypto fintech startups. Like, what are the opportunities do you see with sports technology, and what's the Miami differentiator?
Boy, loaded
I know
question.
you like this topic. I know you like this topic.
Loaded question. I mean, certainly we're a bellwether for crypto and fintech. You're right. We Miami. We're a bellwether for international and luxury. And the last, session here was about luxury, right? We're very culturally influential, I think, in Miami. People take their cues, consumers take their cues from this market in a lot of ways. And so the team tries to mirror that. We represent that, certainly. We've got colorful branding. As Shannon said, we have a diverse team on the field, team off the field, et cetera. We try and lean into those things when we go to market, both on the sales side and also on the brand marketing, fan base side of what we do.
What's your take on that?
I think all
Miami and sports technology.
for us, I think a lot of it is the measurement, the targeting, and the measurement. So from a brand perspective, we want to make sure that we're finding those home security, smart home intenders within the fan base, that we're delivering relevant messages to them, and then we're able to measure both the brand intent, the alignment of our brands with this audience's passion and how that impacts our business. So I think those are the two most important things.
Yeah, I'll add, I mean, we look at technology every day, right, to engage with our fans, and some of them are passing trends, and we don't necessarily buy into that. I know someone earlier was talking about AI. I think AI is going to be quite revolutionary, and it's going to allow us to have a two-way conversation with our fan as opposed to a kind of forced static, I guess, survey, for lack of a better term, in a sense. So I think we're always looking at that. Someone also mentioned NFTs earlier. We have gone down that path. We've dug into it a bit. We've deployed NFTs as a team to our fans. They've done okay. I think there's a lot more to learn in the blockchain space as well. But you're right, we're surrounded here by tons of companies and entrepreneurs and technologies that we can leverage. In fact, in our stadium, we just brought on a company called Ironhack, who's based here. They actually bought, or they're leasing office space in the ballpark. And they're basically teaching younger generations how to code and develop. And so we're going to start working with them on some pilot programs, hackathons, things like that as well.
Interesting. Shannon, back to Safe at Home campaign. How is the electronic security industry evolving, and how is that connected, or how much that influence the idea of this partnership with Marlins?
It's funny because Rita brought up earlier, I wonder what this connection is between baseball and ADT security. And I think it's about, working hard to be able to make those connections for the consumer. So for example, Adam Camacho is here from my team, and we call him like we jokingly call him our chief metaverse officer. So one of the projects that we're working on, that we'd like to bring to our in-stadium activation, is how we can help put in the context of the stadium ADT's metaversal environment, so that a customer is able to understand how these different products work together, how you can use settings or different commands for your ADT system to help run your house, to make your home a smart home, and see those different things unfold right there in the stadium. So there's different ways that we can help connect those dots. And aside from the safe at home message, which certainly has that emotional connection, helps the viewers, the fans, to have that connection with ADT, because we're aligning with the Marlins.
And it's not the first time the Marlins do a partnership with a brand that it's supposed to provide safety to its customers, like value through safety. You had a partnership in the past with Lysol or something, right?
We did. I joked about disinfectant earlier. I apologize, Lysol. But yeah, we were the first team in Major League Baseball to do a partnership with Lysol. At that time, it was critically important to communicate that to our fans, right? So it was very visible in the ballpark when fans were allowed to return. and we leaned into it for
And now
sure.
ADT makes a lot more sense.
ADT makes a lot of sense. So even with what Shannon's describing of bringing our fans into their kind of virtual product suite, our job in that is to bring a little bit of fun and bring the baseball element, right? So they're working on developing kind of a safe at home virtual, slide into home, call the person safe at home experience with their activation platform. So that's our job, is to really help them teach our fans connected to the game of baseball, which is why they're there primarily. And that's what we do.
Okay, and the goal of all of this is to make sure that customers are coming back, right? That they're spending and they're loyal and they're engaging with both brands. My question is, how does your company, for both of you, how does your company, ADT and Marlins and the stadium and et cetera, how does your company measure customer value alignment, and what metrics do you use
Well,
to make sure that you're always on top of your game, like
yep.
delivering what's value to your
I
customer?
mean, like every brand, we're getting real-time feedback, whether it's on social media, whether it's literal attendance metrics, surveys, et cetera. We do a lot of work around those customer insights, or fan insights, we call them. We are constantly trying to turn our venue into a social experience, because we know that attention spans today are what they are. Baseball itself has done a lot to help us this year by shortening the game, instituting a pitch clock, and a few other new innovations to make it more experiential. Yeah, we're doing a lot.
You were saying? Our brand planning team put together a framework that we used first to evaluate our partnership. So when we were out shopping, when we were in the market, there were certain things that we were looking for. Certainly, we wanted to be able to help make an impact, to go beyond just the sponsorship elements, to help be a force for good in the community. And of course, as a South Florida-based brand, we were really loving the idea of finding a partner that could be in our backyard and that we can work together, leverage their existing platforms to help keep Miami neighborhoods even safer. So that was one element, and then of course there's brand elements, the consideration, likelihood to purchase that we track, but then there are also lead gen components of the partnership. So all of those things kind of together come together to make what we're looking at.
And during our conversation earlier this week, you've mentioned a marketing campaign that you had like basically 72 hours to research the customers and to understand, because you noticed that consumer behavior was shifting super quickly, and you had to react, and it took maybe 72 hours for you to come to a conclusion and release something new. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So this is a story from the COVID pandemic, when I'm sure all of us in this room were suddenly just spiraling, didn't know what was happening. We were all told to go work from home. And we needed to figure out how we were going to be able to navigate the marketing landscape. So within 72 hours, Amber, our brand planner, had put together a survey that went out to intenders and Gen Pop to be able to tell us things like, what is happening with the media landscape? Are people watching more TV than they used to because they're glued to the news updates? Are they not really caring about mail as much, or messaging considerations that are a component, a factor of these macroeconomic factors? And I think that as marketers, we need to be nimble, we need to be quick, we need to be able to listen to the market, understand our customers, so that we can deliver the messages that resonate best with them. And I think that this partnership is an example of that. It was one of those things that I think Rob and I had been talking for several years, but when the opportunity presented itself, we were nimble, we were quick, and we moved on it and made it happen. Yes.
Great. There's another thing that you said, Shannon, earlier, which for me was a very bold statement, and that reflects a lot what safety means today, I guess, for all of us. You said, nowadays, safety has changed. Now, connection is protection.
Yes.
I guess we all somehow can feel that on our skin on a daily basis. like I'm without my phone. How do I feel? Like I leave home without my phone or without nowadays my watch, and you feel like not only that you're disconnected, but like you feel unsafe. So can you tell a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So, being in South Florida today, we're probably used to those storms, the hurricanes that blow through, and when we're all on our Zoom calls and everyone's across the country getting off the line with us, they all say, stay safe, stay safe. Hope you stay safe. And that basically means hope you don't lose power. And so that's a perfect example of how our definition of what it means to feel safe has changed. And so as of last April, ADT has added solar energy to our portfolio. So it's an example of how we're listening to the customers, we're constantly learning, and we're adjusting, we're evolving. We're able to make sure that we have the offerings, the full suite of offerings that customers need to feel safe, whether it's in their home, during a storm, on the go, in their business, at a commercial property. It's all protected because ADT exists, because we believe that everyone deserves to feel safe everywhere.
Amazing. Robert, last question, I guess, to you. Uh, a little bit on the fan experience and how do you see the fan experience being impacted by this partnership all the way from activation spaces, gate giveaways, community impact projects?
Yeah, I mean, you just said it all. I'm not sure what else I can add. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're going to be pervasive throughout everything we do in the community, adding value to the fan that comes to the ballpark by supporting different gate giveaways and things like that, having the experiential space that they're going to build, like I said, that's going to be unique. It's going to tie safety and products into the baseball theme. And I think, look, it's kind of funny, but like these jersey patch deals, as they're termed, are kind of sensitive. I don't know if anyone follows this. You may have seen what the New York Mets did a month or so ago. Wasn't exactly the best launch of a partnership patch program. I think your fans, and marketers know this, they're going to give their opinion somewhere, somehow, some way. They're going to give their opinion. This one was safe in a lot of ways because ADT is a 150-year-old company. It's based here. It makes a lot of sense. There's a great fit. But I think also our job is to make it fun for the fan. So that's our goal.
Okay, amazing. Let's open now for questions. And I guess we have perks for those who ask questions, right?
Yes, I've got hats for those that ask a question. Well, at least three.
Including mine. I'm
At
not
least
keeping
three.
this.
I don't know if you want that one, but
No. It's smelling good.
So when you're communicating ADT to the people that are attending the games, I guess, are we looking for sentiment or are we looking for signups? And,
good question.
how's it go?
Great question, great question. And I just realized we had a video to play as well that helps to bring it to life a little bit.
Oh, let's do that.
There it is.
We totally forgot the video.
Could have just played that and went home, really.
I think like the one example of, I'm from New Jersey, Yankee fan growing up, and on their field they have the Audi Quattro, like the four rings, and it's a little bit, it's like, okay, great brand, great team, they're there, but to see ADT safe at home, it takes it one step further. It makes sense for us to be there. It makes sense for us to show up and intersect, yes, with baseball at home plate. So I think it's just taking it that one step further. And to answer your question, there are some elements that are sales based for sure, but in general, I think it's helping to connect with customers when it's never been more challenging for marketers to get the attention of their consumers.
You got a cap.
Yes.
Chris?
So you guys mentioned that you're building this fan experience kind of thing. How can you tell us a little bit about that? What's going to go into it? Will fans be able to sign up for ADT at the stadium, or what's all?
Great question, and the answer is yes. So we had a race to opening day. We made it to opening day, and now we're working through some of the longer term elements, like this fixed activation, which will live in the ballpark, and like you mentioned earlier, Rob, there is an element like we're providing an interactive AI based experience for whether it's little leaguers or fans, it really can be anyone, but making baseball cards so for them to take home, a value exchange. But then we also are going to have experiential elements for them to feel as though they're interacting with an ADT system. And yes, they would be able to either have a lead gen, leave behind opportunity, or purchase if they wanted to at the stadium.
I think that's also important because our fan, as I kind of alluded to earlier, especially attendees, there's a fair amount that are Hispanic, right? So, and I think having the presence there for every game, having them come and see the same person or persons every so often that they can talk to about it and build up trust over time is critical to that, because some of the stuff can be, and it's not about Hispanic, but it can be a little daunting technology, right? But I think, building the trust and interacting several times to get to that point of potentially purchase is important.
And you get my cap. We work together.
Oh, okay. Plant, I see.
You mean so it doesn't disrupt the experience? Is that it? So you don't take the cut. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, that's why the design is built to, there's several concepts, but one, for example, that Shannon alluded to is you get to be star in your own baseball card that then gets produced. So it's baseball and technology mixing as one. The other idea was again, sliding into home virtually and someone calling safe like the umpire would, things like that. So mixing baseball and product. I think that's the outside actually, so.
His cap.
No, got it. One in the back. You want to go? In a word, critical.
Agree. It's a softball, so to speak. It's being tuned into the customer, putting the customer first. It's always all about that in marketing. So
Yeah. All of them. I mean, really, if you're going to do sports marketing, that's exactly it. You hit on it. Like I said earlier, it's our job to teach the fans your brand's positioning and your promise that they expect from your brand. And so if you don't involve them, the fan, the consumer, what are we doing, right?
Okay. What?
Thank you very much.